all the Amex is doing is standing in the middle, receiving credit from both parties as debtor, but pretending to be the creditor to both parties. And it's collecting a free rake off from both sides of the same transaction, while acting as an agent, which is also
criminal.
When the Supreme Court of Canada screwed everything up in 1990, when they ratified the Thompson decision that criminal acts are not fundamentally illegal, because the criminal law only says you will be severely punished, but does not say don't do it. I mean, that is so stupid. So I suspect that while you're out there carrying this card, you're actually operating under a Bailey's undertaking that they call a credit card contract. The Visa MasterCard banks alone, and charge cards like Amex, Visa, MasterCard, they are skimming $2 billion a day off the global economy in concealed credit charges. The bank provides a 2-cent service and charges $1.50 for it. I'm like the squirrel Scrat in the Ice Age movies, running after his acorn. I always see something more crooked, and I go, oh, no, they've got to go after that. We go after that. So I went from the nominal method, showed me how crooked the system was, or some cracks in it anyways, and then I went on through the credit cards. And the credit card phenomena is the most obscene racketeering enterprise on the entire planet. The Visa MasterCard banks alone, or the credit card ones alone, and charge cards like Amex, Visa, MasterCard, they are skimming $2 billion a day off the global economy in concealed credit charges. In concealed credit charges that they call merchant fees, but internally they have to account for them as interest charges from the card user and not the merchant, because if the card user doesn't pay, then the bank never receives the merchant fee at all. And you can't change that reality of banking by a label, by putting a different label on it. And so they have to admit in their annual reports that they recognize the merchant fees as interest received from the card user. See, so that free loan you think you're getting in exchange for your air miles points is actually 5% for 21 days is 144% per annum. That's what American Express earns on that transaction. Mm-hmm. But they're not putting any money into it. The real rate is infinity, because it is the merchant who provides the real credit by allowing the card user to leave their store in exchange for a promise to pay by the financial agent of the card user. See, the merchant provides the real physical credit, and the financial credit is provided by the card user, who issues a signed payment voucher, which is indistinguishable from a signed check. And it trades throughout the system. And so everybody in what I call the discount daisy chain takes their rake off. The merchant's bank takes a 1% rake off. Visa International takes a 1% rake off. And then your bank takes a 1% rake off. But it all enters the system, all of the rake offs, at the end of the grace period, which is also the interest accrual period. It's all what you call it. And so, at any rate.
So in other words, Tim, what happens is that money is being placed in other accounts before the actual money even receives to the actual person, between the two parties.
Yeah, and you see, because so all the Amex is doing is standing in the middle, receiving credit from both parties and as debtor, but pretending to be the creditor to both parties, and it's collecting a free rake off from both sides of the same transaction, while acting as an agent, which is also
criminal.
It's just, if you get to that point. And
can I ask you a quick question about? So I think I'm so smart to pay my credit card off every month, and am I still being screwed that way?
Yeah. Over 98% of people do by the total charge volume. Everybody pays off. There's very few people who do. I mean, maybe that may be going up substantially now, but for year after year after year, for 40 years that I've got records of, 98% of all purchases are paid for within the grace period to get the free loan. But that's the real business. They're making 4 times as much money from the price rake offs as they are from the interest charges on the outstanding balances. But that's the real business. They're making 4 times as much money from the price rake offs as they are from the interest charges on the outstanding balances. So what they're doing is, it's costing them 2 cents a transaction but they're charging like $2.25 as an average rake-off. So it's like 100 times at least. So it'd be like if you had an automobile that cost you $40,000 to build, if you had the same cost to public selling price ratio, you would have to sell that $40,000 vehicle to the public for $8 million. So that's what they do. The bank provides a 2-cent service and charges $1.50 for it, or $2 for it.
What a circus.
And it goes on day after day, 24/7. In the 20 minutes that it takes to read my little the pop quiz on credit cards, it takes about 20 minutes to read, and in that 20 minutes, global system skims $60 million US. It's mind-boggling what's going on.
I have a question to ask you in regards to the credit card situation. When you sign that contract, does that money automatically become viable money in their system, rather if you use it or not? If you sign that contract for a $5,000 credit card,
let's say that you order the card and they approve it and they deliver it to you. Okay, the instant you receive that card, you are liable to insure them or guarantee them for any fraud that is committed by third parties. If you read the contract, that's what it says. Whether they can enforce it or will give on it if you argue with them is not the point. I'm saying, what does the contract say? It says you're responsible if somebody defrauds us using this number that we've assigned to your card. So you see, the thing is, even before you use it, you are providing a financial service to the bank, and not vice versa.
Right. So it's almost like a promissory note. Once you sign that, you're done.
No, your credit card contract, even before they give you the plastic card, which is a bailment, by the way. And your contract is a Bailey's undertaking. It's fascinating, actually, what's going on.
Can you explain that to the audience?
I can tell you. Okay, a bailment is like, for example, a thing, like a set of tools that a farmer has. Okay. Now, the purpose of the Bailey's undertaking and the bailment was so that the farmer could pledge his tools to the bank as security, but still hold them and use them. See, the bank owns the tools, but the farmer gets to use them, and he doesn't have to replace them if he breaks one. See, that's a little bit different. Now, there's 6 different types of Bailey's undertakings, and one of them is a profit-sharing arrangement.
Wow.
See? So, any rate, when you receive the bailment, which is the plastic card, if you read the back, you'll see that it remains always the property of the bank. So that means you are necessarily operating under what's called a Bailey's undertaking, which is the holder's contract, or you're admitting that the bank owns the stuff, but you get to use it. That's how my Eaton's thing started. Was I talked to the guy and he said, well, you can just sign this here. It's called a Bailey's undertaking, under which you concede that the other party has got a judgment, owns it, but you still get to keep it and use it. So I suspect that while you're out there carrying this card, you're actually operating under a Bailey's undertaking that they call a credit card contract.
And it's the child archetype that everybody's in, right?
Right.
That even when they tell us outright that there might be something illegal and there's, it's all we're in such a naive place of not wanting to even look at the statement, never mind read the fine print of the statement. And we naively think that when we go to the bank to take money out from our credit card that they're giving us value. It's like, no, we created that value. That value didn't even exist before. Can you talk a little bit about that? I heard you say it several times about hypothecating the asset, so that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, you're the creditor in fact. See, it's your underwriting of the debt that's the money. See, the money doesn't even exist. The so-called loan money does not exist unless and until you underwrite it by agreeing that you owe it. The bankers arrive at any given transaction with more metaphoric empty pockets. They don't bring anything to the transaction. And everything that they put into it is they get from one of the other two, either or both of the other two parties. You've ever heard the expression, they cannot bear close scrutiny?
Got
The
it.
financial system on this planet cannot bear any scrutiny, let alone close scrutiny. It's become so cartoonishly criminal. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they've even got disclaimers in there that say, if it should be discovered or raised as an issue that this contract is criminal, then A, we were just kidding, and or B, we really meant this.
Holy moly, unbelievable.
No, really, seriously. It says if it should be discovered, like they're pretending they don't know.